Alright, what's up guys, Azura here, and we are here for a very quick video, hopefully quick video today. And we are here to talk about the restriction list that happened very recently on JP. Maintenance on JP just finished like a few hours ago. But if you have not seen or heard of the news, JP, after 10 months of no balance changes at all whatsoever, no choice restrictions, no limits or no erratas or anything like that. We finally got a choice restriction, and two pretty relevant ones at that. The first one being the one that I'm sure a lot of people have cried out for, being Jingle Flower Dragon, and Thuria. These two cards are now choice restricted. If you don't know what a choice restrict is, in TCG, it would be like if you play one card, you're not allowed to play the other in your deck. So, for example, if this was TCG, you could choose to play either Jingle Flower or Thuria in your deck. You cannot have both, but if the one you choose, you can play as many as you want. So, for example, you can play 4 Thuria, 0 Jingle Flower, 4 Jingle Flowers, 0 Thurias, or like 2 Thurias, 0 Jingle Flowers, whatever combination of that. Like basically choose one and you play as many of that as you want, but you're not allowed to play the other. But in 0, it's slightly different. Instead of being an actual choice restriction, the card that has the choice restrict text. So in this case, for this restrict, it would be the Jingle Flower. Jingle Flower has the choice restriction text on it, meaning if you have both of the cards in your deck, you're allowed to have both in your deck, but the card with the choice restriction text cannot use any of its effects. So as you can see here, it already has a choice restriction text on it because we just had it implemented a few hours ago. Like I said, maintenance ended a few hours ago at time of this recording. If you have both Thuria and Jingle in your deck, Thuria will work as intended. It will keep names, it'll get resist, all of that. But Jingle Flower, if you stride into it, it will not. You cannot use any of its effects. So you cannot use the skill at all whatsoever. So yeah, that's how that works in 0. Impact of this, obviously, I think it is going to hurt the deck quite a bit. At the moment, at the very least, I think. Despite me thinking Jingle Thuria was like slowly starting to fall off a little bit, just because of the fact that all the other good decks could very comfortably deal with this. It still was a very degenerate thing this deck could do, and I very much think this was something that should have happened like a few months ago. I think this honestly is a little bit too late. I honestly don't think yeah, it was an issue. Obviously, the not good decks obviously could not deal with it, and I think that is a problem. Like the fact that Jingle 3 just kind of kept all like the tier 2 and lower decks. It just kind of told those decks they couldn't play the game at all. So I do think that it's nice that it is being addressed. I just think it was a little bit too late because at this point I do think the meta has evolved to the point where there's enough decks, good decks that can deal with Jingle Thuria that I didn't think it was like a really big issue. I think this deck was only like a really big issue like a few sets ago. I think like before Luard, before Luard came out, I think that's when this deck really needed to happen. But I guess better late than never. But realistically speaking, obviously it's gonna hurt the deck, and I think it's gonna make the deck definitely take the deck probably knock the deck down a tier or 2. At the end of the day, Neonectar is still a main character clan, and there's only more support for this deck coming on the way. So I think now there is actually an argument to play like a more Bloom focused list, despite I think the Bloom package being overall worse than like the more like standardized deck with Lost Memory and stuff like that. But in the future, this deck is definitely going to deviate more towards Bloom than what it was doing before. So if you invested in Bloom, if the Bloom cards, good for you, because your investment's going to pay off eventually, just not yet. But yeah. But now with this restriction, I think there's 2 ways to play it. I can either just go full on Bloom, which is probably fine because Thuria is still a really good card, or you play the old list and you just cut the Jingles for like more other generic strides. You just cut them for like, I don't know, like Arborea, then maybe another Primavera, maybe like a one Glorious Bloom. Just like you just have more space to play around with other stuff now, which is cool. But overall, I do think the deck has gone hurt quite a bit. And the other choice restriction is one that, despite me loving this deck, it's Luard, being the deck that got hit here. Despite me loving this deck, I do think this deck should not be doing what it's doing. I think I think what Luard is doing is even more degenerate than what Jingle Theory was doing, realistically speaking. So the choice restriction here for Luard is the 18k and the crit, the Belial Owl. Personally, not how I would have gone around at hitting this deck. I think there are much more problem cards. I think there are definitely better ways they could have decided to nerf it, but I guess by doing it like this, because I doubt this 18k would have stayed in the deck forever if the deck ever deviated away from like a damage choke playstyle. So by doing it like this, you hurt the current version of the deck, the current best way to play the deck, which is the damage deny and then chuck out 18ks to block a lot of hits, or make it hard for one to hit you. Definitely hurts the deck. I definitely think that the 0 damage version or the damage choke version of the deck is probably dead. I've seen a lot of people say that, like, oh yeah, you just cut the 18k for the 15k, and I think 15 and 18 is quite the big difference in my opinion, at the very least. 18, if you just look at face value, 18, a normal rear column line is 9 plus 6. That's like very baseline average. 9 plus 6 is 16. Obviously, there are some decks that have like bigger attackers, bigger boosters, but etc. etc. But like for the most part, most decks are very consistently making 16k columns. 16 cannot hit into 18, meaning they have to go over the way to try to hit the 18 or punch Van into the rear. 15, literally any column can hit it. Any average column, 9 plus 6 will hit into it, meaning like even if you are killing their boosters like somewhat consistently every turn, all they need is just to place out another booster and any other attacker, and they can hit into it. And I think that honestly it makes like the damage choke version deck like a lot worse, and I don't even know if I'd realistically still play that version of the deck anymore, because I actually do think the 18k was very integral to the deck's playstyle and what it was trying to do. But I'm sure Luard will get support in like another month or two, so just wait out on that, I guess. Until then, I think I probably at some point will try out the deck with the 15ks, but just from first impressions, I don't think the 0 damage version of the deck is viable at all anymore. I think the 18k played a really big role in the deck that people just didn't like, that people just like don't like see, because they just go, oh yeah, Ogma, rip cards, damage choking, yada yada yada. But like, I think the 18k definitely played a very large part into why the deck was as good as it was. Like obviously some good decks, like most of the good decks, could relatively deal with 18ks pretty well. Like Ahsha could deal with it pretty well. Altmal could hit into it. Haru could hit into it. But like it still like made it more troublesome for them than they want to actually deal with it. Altmal, less of the other decks, it definitely forces their hand a little bit to deal with it. But yeah, so yeah, just my quick thoughts. I think overall, I think Jingle Thuria being dead, I think both these decks being gutted like this is a good thing. Like despite me liking Luard and Ahsha not so much, but despite me liking Luard, I do think these hits are very healthy for the game, so that's a good step there. As for these decks' competitive viability, I think Ahsha will probably still be a fine playable deck, just not nearly as just doesn't do anything degenerate anymore. Just kind of does, like, it draws a bunch, maybe does a few multi attacks and all that, but I think it's definitely worth looking into the Bloom version of the deck now, as opposed to just going Herder Jingle Thuria. As for Luard, I think the 0 damage or the damage version of the deck got a huge hit. I think it is at least worth trying out the 15ks and seeing if the deck still does as well as it did before. But just from first impression, I don't think that version deck will be good anymore, and you just might have to play like an Unga Bunga hit face version of the deck, or like Ogma Turbo version of the deck. Just something different from what it's doing right now. So yeah, so that's it for my just a quick, I say quick, but it's only been like 9 minutes. A quick like go over of the choice restrictions, like and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.